It's a very important place, actually. I mean, in terms of military strategy, but also in terms of politics and propaganda for the new regime of Kabul, because this is the only stronghold still in the hand of the opposition. So it's not possible for the moment for the Taliban to seize all this long valley, which is something around 120 kilometers and populated with something more than 150,000 people, up to maybe 200,000 with the refugees. But the National Front of Resistance, led by the son of the former Commando Massoud, which is Ahmad Massoud, has been educated in London, in King's College. He's 32 years old, is okay, is very, let's say, involved actually in the will to have freedom and to have resistance. So for the moment, it's a fragile resistance, but it's still holding. It's very important strategically because the Taliban want to say we are master for all the territory of Afghanistan, and we don't want any province and the last one to resist for us.
Let's talk a little bit more about this fierce fighting that's underway. As you say, this resistance is for the moment fragile. There's been talk of foreign fighters involved in this. What do we know about them, and could they sway this situation either way?
Yeah, because actually there was 3 attacks from the Taliban on the southern side, which is the entrance of the valley, not far from Kabul, 80 kilometers maybe, with a very narrow entry, something like 50 meters wide, no more. And actually the Taliban have been trapped inside the southern part of the valley. There was a lot of casualties, but there was also 2 other attacks, pass mainly, with the Red Unit. Red Unit is a small army run by Sirajuddin Haqqani, which is a famous leader of the famous network Haqqani. And Haqqani network is very close to Al-Qaeda, and they used to train to fight with not only Afghan soldiers, but also Pakistanis, militant, Chechen, Indonesian. And according to my sources, some Pakistanis have been killed in this pass by the resistance, by the forces of Ahmad Massoud, but also Chechen. So we'll see in the next few days what's going on, but there is a lot of effort for the Taliban to seize this valley. It's not finished, the valley can resist, as you mentioned, it's very fragile. The electricity line have been cut, the phone also, internet also, and there will be a problem in the next few weeks, let's say, maybe next few days, for the shortage of gas, and it's very important to transport the troops.
I mean, as you say, there's still some way to go in this. This could go on for 3 days or indeed 3 months, Olivier. Given what we know about who's there, who's participating in this combat in Panjshir Valley, could this could this dent the Taliban's power, which for the moment is, as we know, pretty much dominating the whole of the country?
Sure. Actually, it's only one province, very narrow, very small, actually 120 kilometers. This is the smallest province of Afghanistan, but the militants, the resistance are very determined, very motivated. And but actually, again, there will be a shortage of ammunition, of weaponry, and the difference with the Act Number 1 of the Taliban, because this valley never been seized, even by the Soviet during the invasion of the 80s or during the Act Number 1 of the Taliban from 96 to 2001. But the difference with the first reign of the Taliban is that at this time, the father, Commando Massoud, used to have the Badakhshan, which is the northern area beyond the Panjshir Valley now. And this was a strategic approach run by military advisors and Pakistani advisors also for the Taliban. The Taliban, before seizing Kabul, were able to seize all the 21 valley, let's say, circling Panjshir Valley. So it's very difficult for the new leader of the National Front of Resistance, Ahmad Massoud, the young Massoud, to resist for the long term. And if there is no help, no humanitarian help, no military help from the foreign countries, it will be in desperate situation.
Let's stay with this idea of resistance, Olivier, because there is, of course, another fragile resistance that we're hearing about, and that is women taken to the streets, certainly over the last couple of days, to protest against regressing rights, which they're seeing under Taliban rule. What do you make of that?
Correct. So I have some news coming from Kabul and from different areas of Afghanistan. And there's 2 kinds of resistance, as you mentioned. The military one in Panjshir Valley, maybe in some other pockets in the center of Afghanistan very soon with the Hazaras, the Shia minority, but also in the city with a kind of civilian, and not a passive one, an active civilian resistance, mainly with women, NGOs, civil society, because the majority of Afghan people are less than 25 years old. Majority of the 40 million Afghan people are women, and they are fed up with Taliban. They know, even if they are very young women, they know how they used to deal, or they used to rule this country in a very harsh condition and with a very conservative Quranic laws, the Sharia, etc., and so on. And so they want to protest. And actually, this morning there was also a protest, as I mentioned, in Kabul, and it was let's say, repressed by the Taliban guards. And I've seen some. So I received some news from militants and some women who have been, let's say, beaten in the streets on the face, who have been injured. So this is a sign also by the Taliban. So you don't want to have protests in the center of the cities.
Okay.